And what is going on, everybody? It is another edition of Chris Akin Presents, the live version. Eric, what is going on, sir?
Hello, Mr. Chris. Great to see you again.
Yeah, man. Great to be doing this again, man. And we got a great one tonight, man. We've got guests, we've got movie talk, we've got all kinds of good shit going on tonight, man.
We got Christmas backgrounds.
Look at you, all holiday spirited.
That's right. I thought that kind of reminded me of two people.
Which one am I? The green one or the? I must be, because that's the fat one. So
I'm the baseball head one.
There you go.
So,
yeah, you're the bald one like the baseball head. I'm the fat one like the green one. Perfect.
You're the guy who's got a snake instead of a candy cane.
That's right. Perfect.
We're close. We're counting down to Christmas.
Yeah, and for me, Christmas doesn't matter at all. But I know for you, it really does. Like you're a Christmas guy, aren't you?
I am a Christmas guy. You're a Thanksgiving guy.
Yes. Imagine that fat guy that likes Christmas.
I would think you would like both equally, because they're both great excuses to overeat and indulge in all kinds of crazy stuff you only eat once a year.
Yeah, but you know what it is with Christmas for me though, dude? It's the obligation. It is the obligation of having to buy presents for people you probably wouldn't buy presents for. You know, right. it's you know, I mean, I might say happy holidays or Merry Christmas or something to somebody, and that's it. But then I get a card with like money in it or something, or then I get a present out of the blue, or somebody hands me, even if it's a gift card. And it's like somebody I would not give a gift card to normally. It's somebody I'd be like, hey, what's up? And that's about it.
Right.
But then I'm looking at a $20 gift card for something, and I'm like, fuck, now I got to go spend $20 on this fucking asshole.
Well, the way it should work is somebody, your mom or somebody, gave you a few extra ones and you can swap it. You go, hey, thanks, and you pass them one of those kind of goofy gifts.
See, that would be nice, but unfortunately, like I have kids. So I'll give you the example, and I hate that I'm going to tell this on the air, but whatever, I'll tell it. I don't care. So my brother gave all of my kids, my three kids, $100 gift cards to various things that they're into. And he gave it to them already.
All right.
So now he has 4 kids. So the way that calculates in my head was the minute that my first kid told me, hey, Uncle Jason gave me this, my brain went, fuck, I just spent $400. Because I got to give $100 gift card to each of his kids now. Or else I'm a shitty uncle, you know, and he just, you see what I mean? It's, you know, where if he would have given nothing, I could have just called him on the day and said, hey, hope you're having a great Christmas.
Have you ever considered becoming a Jehovah's Witness?
No.
Where you wouldn't have to actually celebrate Christmas. You don't even have to celebrate your birthday. When somebody asks you how old you are, you're just like, I think we don't recognize that.
I think if my choices are become a Jehovah's Witness or shell out a few $100, I'll shell out the money. I'm not doing that. I am not peddling anything door to door.
I'm
not doing it.
I have a couple people I gotta get gifts for that are staying with us. Susie's kids are coming. Okay. I'll have to get them a few, at least, stocking stuffers.
Sure.
But unfortunately, I had a lot of car crap go down this month. I had to do tires and brakes. Got hosed on both counts.
Right.
Testing out shops around here. So I don't have the best luck with that sort of thing. So it's going to be a tight Christmas, but I'm excited to announce that we're actually going to Chicago this week.
Yes, I saw that.
So I have my plane ticket, and we're going to rock with Stephen Piercy.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I understand you're going to see my partner, Neely.
Neely's coming to this. I was so stoked to see that. I don't know how far a drive that is for him, but I'm going to hook him up and a friend. Or,
dude, it doesn't matter for him.
McHenry, Illinois.
Yeah, if you're within 500 miles of him, either Steven or Dockin, if one of the two is within 500 miles, he's in the car road tripping.
That's right. I'll hear that engine of his car. That.
Yeah, exactly. That hot rod that he has.
That's right.
He'll be hot rodding his way out there, but that'll be fun, man. That's, you know, I have to imagine for you guys, not just you, but, you know, any band guy really, when you go to a town and you have friends in the town, that's better than when you go to, Wiltern, Iowa, where you've never met anybody other than shaking a hand the last time you were through Wiltern, Iowa.
I guess it depends how tired you are.
Okay.
Or I am. But yeah, no, of course it's always awesome because some friends you only get to see if you're playing.
Sure.
In their town. So of course I've had people that I've get to see for the last 22 years,
Right.
and stoked when they're still around.
Right. Do you have friends that are solely met them on the road and became friends with them because of the Stephen Piercy road experience?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
probably over time, I couldn't even guess, man. 100 friends like that.
No
yeah.
shit.
Every state. Every
Okay.
city we play would make a friend, and phone numbers get exchanged for whatever reason. They're possibly working on the show. They're a runner. They're sometimes a fan you've met a few different times that were cool.
Right.
But yeah, definitely, I've had long-lasting friendships from Stephen Piercy concerts over the years, for sure.
No doubt. Do you end up like, hey, when we're in town, let's swing by your house and have a barbecue or any of that kind of shit? Or
there's never time for that. However, if we ever were to do a tour, and I know tonight we're going to talk about touring in the modern times here, in those situations there are days where you can get into a town a few days early, and if you have some friends there, that is awesome because they can run you around and help you get taken care of while you're there. But for us, it's just flyouts, and there's no time to go to their house or anything. We're lucky if we get in and get a decent night's sleep the night before,
right,
and got to be up, do sound check, do the show, fly home the very next day.
Right. How does that work with checkout? And this, I know these are dumb questions, but how does that work with like a checkout time? I mean, you don't get back to the like if you had I don't know, a 6 o'clock flight, an evening flight instead of an early morning flight.
Because it could be either. There's been plenty of 6 a.m. flights.
Yeah, no, I don't mean
where we don't even get back to the room till 3, and you're sitting there going, "Should I even bother trying to go to sleep right now?" And you think, "I'm just gonna stay up," and then about 5 minutes before you got to get up, you fall asleep, and it's just you're like tweaked back into reality, and you're like, "Oh my god, I should have tried to sleep for 3 hours."
Right. I'm talking about the other way though. When let's say you have a 6 p.m. flight or a 7 p.m. flight or something out of wherever.
Right.
Does the hotel or do they accommodate you for that, or do they just tell you, "Fuck you, beat it. It's 11 o'clock. Check out
We've
time"?
had all kinds of different stuff. I know on Jason Green's Road Diaries, there's probably some situations where they tried to boot us out for just that exact thing. But generally they're cool till 12. If it's like a Sunday or something, if it's a Saturday, they're going to want you out of there because they still have people coming in on the weekend. If it's a Sunday, you might be able to get away with 1, maybe even 2 if they know the band, or the promoter puts a lot of people in that hotel or something like that. But they would like to see you out of there by 11 or 12.
So then what do you do?
Well,
sit at the airport?
Yeah. You have to go gas up the rental car or whatever, drop it off. You have to be 2 hours early at least to the airport anyways.
Yeah.
In most.
But even that's leaving like a 3 or 4 hour window.
Right.
To the bar.
Recently, they had me with a way later flight than them, where they were leaving at like, 10 in the morning or 11 in the morning, and I got there with them at like 8, and my flight wasn't until 6 o'clock. And I was like, "Oh, great!" And so I just moped over by a chair, and I was sitting there, and everybody kind of said their farewells to me and kind of felt bad for me. And then I go, "Wait a second, maybe I could actually go up to the gate and see if they'll give me an earlier flight." And they totally did. So I was able to board and go home even earlier. I didn't have to.
That's cool.
Wait, you could do standby if you have that much time.
Sure.
You could there's probably at least 2 flights that are happening that you might be able to get on.
Okay. Yeah, it just seems like every little day I learn just a little bit more about the road and about touring and being in a band. And every time I learn a little bit more, it tells me how thankful I am that I sucked at drumming. God, I would hate this. I mean, just hearing it, just sitting at. I don't like to sit in the airport 20 minutes. Like that 2 hour thing is probably the main reason I don't fly now. It really is, because I just hate rush. You rush through, and then you got an hour and 50 minutes till boarding time. I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm either going to get hammered or, and these days I'm afraid to fall asleep. Somebody will rob you or kill you.
Well, you hope they have somewhere for your phone charger at least.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God for phones, because that makes a hell of a difference than 20 years ago.
Sure. But yeah, but even if you pull out a nice iPad, somebody be like, I wouldn't mind having that for myself.
Yeah, you can't leave your stuff and go trip around or anything. You have to guard your stuff at all times. And the airport itself is always freaked out on that sort of thing, that you're leaving something bad behind. Or,
oh yeah. I know it's such a, and again, going back to the 2-hour waiting, you go in the bathroom, you're dragging, gear with you or suitcases or whatever into the fucking bathroom to
double
take
guitars.
Piss.
I know I have to take my double guitars sometimes and walk into these men's rooms, and the smell is atrocious.
Oh yeah,
for one. And then there's usually urine all over the place. Like nobody can keep their pee in the thing.
So you don't want to put your guitars on the floor.
You have to though. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I got usually like a backpack and then at least a double guitar bag, and it sits in the pee.
All right, where's the worst? What's the worst airport?
The worst airport. That's hard to say. I mean, they all try to do a decent job. The smaller ones, I think, have more time. They have less flights going on.
Sure.
They're just like sitting around where it's almost weird. You feel like it's not even a real airport. It's kind of goofy. And then there's other ones that are just like so outrageous. And I blocked some of these out of my head. I know recently I had a flight home over at some airport, and the line, I thought it started like where the escalators were to go up to the security checkpoint, but you actually had to take the elevators down into the parking garage because they decided to divert all traffic through the parking garage, where we're doing circles in a parking garage and then going up to some other side of the whole airport and then through the whole airport and then in another couple circles. It must have been like a 3-mile long line where they had old people, wheelchairs. I don't think they normally did this. I don't know what the scenario was where this happened to me, but it was insane. I wish I thought we were going to talk about it. I would have shown you photos.
That's all good. Dude, I think the worst places I've ever been, and they might be way updated. They probably are, because it's been years since I've been there. But the 2 worst airports I've ever been in my life was, number 1 was Tokyo. Tokyo International was the worst. Oh my God. 8 billion people in the place. 4,000 tentacles. It was one of those that like had a hub and then like tentacle things out. And you had to kind of go, you had to know, which of course I read, fluent Japanese, right?
Right.
I don't read any Japanese. And I'm like, all right, I got to find this certain exit because the cabs only go from this certain exit, the way I want to go. So you have to figure that out. I don't speak any Japanese. I don't read it. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Okay.
Domo manigato.
And that's about it. Domo.
Mr. You're just going up to each gate. Domo manigato, Mr.
Domo
Roboto.
Mr. Roboto. Sushi.
And, what? What? Domo.
Sake. I don't know shit.
Soy sauce.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's really it. Kung Pao. Kung Pao. Hopefully they sell Kung Pao where I'm going.
Probably cream of some young guy.
Yeah, that's where you're going, not me. But no, that one was bad. And then Atlanta.
Oh my God, yes, they suck.
That is so bad.
People hate you. They hate you.
Mm-hmm. The people hate you. It's very unorganized. You don't know where the fuck you're going. They have all those weird trams or the what do you call those? The people mover
You have
things?
to get on a subway to go in any airport. The airport sucks.
Yeah, I agree. Agree fully. Yeah, and then because then you don't even know if you're on the right subway.
No, it's very stressful. I'm lucky I never died this past year at a fucking airport. Excuse me, at an airport, because we had the masks on and that stuff, and I had respiratory, circulation stuff going on, and there, I couldn't even do it. I would have like the mask at least pulled down on my mouth. I'm like, how do people even breathe and huff 2 miles through an airport? Especially if you're carrying stuff, makes it way worse.
Dude, I remember the first time I flew into Korea Internet, Kimpo International, and I'm 19 or 8. Was I 18? I was 18 years old. I've never, the furthest I've been is Canada, and now I'm going around the world. Nice. I'm scared to death. First thing I've ever done as a grown up. I just graduated high school fucking 6 months ago, and now I'm on the other side of the planet. I've got a duffel bag, 2 suitcases, and like a carry-on bag. And I'm trying to run through this dumb airport, trying to, I get to where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. Dude is yelling at me in Korean because I was trying to just walk through, and instead, I didn't even understand customs really at that point because it was a direct flight from the U.S. I didn't have to really pass through anything.
You're all Korean barbecue?
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm just walking through, and he's like, "안녕하십니까? Hanya! I'm like, whoa, dude, ease up, bro. And I'm being like that too. I'm like, hey, ease up here. I don't know what he's saying. And then finally somebody grabs me, and I swat him right off me because that's me. I'm like,
oh no,
fuck off me. And meanwhile it's a security agent with an M16 on his shoulder. I'm like, oops. And then I figured out what they were doing. But because I was a dick, they absolutely unpacked everything that I had in. I mean,
you're not in a hurry, Mr. Akin.
And that was it, too. It was literally like, let's slow this guy down for like an hour. And they dumped my entire duffel bag, unfolded everything, unfolded every piece of clothing that I had in the suitcases, so that it wouldn't fit back into the duffel bag without me having to
Was this how it was?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't 3 suitcases and a bag or me carrying the shit. It was all stuffed in there. It was such a pain in the dick that first time. And I was just like, man, I'm going to be more nice next time I come. And I always was. Anytime after that, I flew back and forth 50 times.
Yeah.
Back and forth through Kimpo, and every time after that, I'm spitting the language, man, and give them the good wave, good smile.
You don't tell them the thing that's on your book.
No, not at all. I certainly didn't say that. I certainly didn't. I didn't
Chris
preach
has a
these
very
words.
atrocious thing in Korean on his book.
I did not preach those words. No, but yeah, the airport can be a nightmare, man. It really, really can be. But well, dude, why don't we do this, man? Let's get into a little bit of conversation before Johnny comes on to talk about the road, which we will do. But you and I, we took up the task of watching this jewel of a documentary on Showtime called Spector. I'm going to say it. I said it on CMS Saturday. I'll say it to you, and maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't. This might have been the best ever documentary.
Well, the best ever in music thriller documentaries, perhaps.
I was completely mesmerized by this thing. I couldn't believe. I'll tell you what I couldn't believe. I actually could believe that he murdered that girl. I have no problem believing that. I have no problem believing that everybody just wanted to ride the Spector train because it was a money train. No question about it.
Well, what was your memory? I mean, because obviously we lived through that time. I remember them throwing out a lot of the suicide thing for Lana Clarkson. Like they were putting that out there that she committed suicide at his house, and it did sound strange. It was one of those stories where you're kind of scratching your head about it. And this isn't the first Hollywood murder
right,
to happen in recent time back then. So we were paying attention to that. The media machine was in full effect. And I do remember two things that were interesting. One, they were just kept repeating that she was a B movie list or a D lister. They would really like take her down a notch. And that's probably what you're saying. Like people that were on that train that worked in the entertainment business that were trying to cover for this guy at least a little bit. Unfortunate though, as we know, even then he looked so strange. You knew something was up.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even the people, like, I mean, he was a money train. He, to me, if in today's world, it would be like if Mutt Lange was convicted of killing somebody. You would get every AC/DC member, every Def Leppard member, every person under the sun would be coming out of the woodwork to say, you know what, Mutt couldn't have done this. He's a great guy. Didn't you hear Hysteria? It's fantastic.
All the character witnesses.
Yeah, and that's exactly what was going on. Didn't you notice that they trotted out all the people of the quote unquote the wrecking crew, all the musicians in this thing, like Carol Kay and whatever. They trotted.
She's amazing. Carol Kay,
she's great.
Yes.
She's great. But she was right there to say, I can't believe Phil would do such a thing. That's right. That's
almost like they tried to basically paint it like over time his mental illness increased. Yeah. Where he started out really great and did all these hits for us, and then little by little. But when you watch this documentary as the episodes go on, you see that he always was a wild card, pulling his guns out.
You know what I came away with from this documentary, and nothing said this, so I'm putting this out there very clearly. This is only my opinion. I think he probably killed somebody else.
Oh yeah.
I definitely get the feeling that Lana Clarkson was not the first person he killed. They had pictures of him waving guns at people back in the 60s.
Statistically, somebody would have had to get shot at some point. You pull your gun that many times.
I mean, how many times are you going to be hammered out of your mind? He was drinking those drinks that were like 4 shots a piece. Every single time he went to the bar, he's drinking 10 of them, and he's waving a pistol. He took somebody out somewhere along the way.
I was left with a lot of questions watching this thing.
Like
one of them I had brought up to you that I don't know if you were able to solve.
Yeah.
But at this point he has the Ronettes, and for one, it sounded like he just named her Ronnie Spector. All of a sudden she was Ronnie, and I don't even know if they were married yet.
I don't know. I think you're right on that one.
And this was a strange,
who we situation. Could ask? Well, we could ask next week. We could ask Jess and Daz Money, because they know Ronnie Spector.
Probably do. They do know her from the Dad's video, and
that's what I'm saying. We could ask them next week.
Yeah,
keep it in mind.
Totally. Yeah, but it appeared that she just took his name earlier, and they eventually did get married. But she was saying something about kids, or he just showed up with kids one day, and they kind of slipped that into the documentary, which they never expound upon. They go, all this, she's talking or something, and she goes, one day he just shows up with like this baby and this like 2 kids in their single digits, and she didn't know what to think. This is when he was going full crazy.
Yep.
And she eventually takes off with nothing but the clothes on her back, no shoes even, and they never say what happens to these kids.
Yeah, they just sort of, and they didn't interview them or nothing, so they're in the ether somewhere. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
to him.
He doesn't say how he got it. Just that's not an easy thing to go.
They didn't even say he
adopted.
Yeah, they didn't say he adopted them. They just said he gave her those kids as a Christmas present or something.
Right.
And I
mean, honestly, when they I think they show a picture. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere along the line somebody goes, "Oh my God, that's my nephew that was kidnapped back in 1970."
It might be. I mean, dude, I did look it up. And I found one article by a source that is 1,000% not trustworthy. It was on Reddit somewhere.
Right, which I love Reddit, but anyway,
I love Reddit too, but I trust that as much as I do myself, giving somebody brain surgery. I mean, that's just not smart. But somewhere on Reddit, somebody said that they were actually adopted legally. That's the only place I could find it. I couldn't find it on any reputable thing. So God knows. I mean,
for a man to adopt children, yeah, that's a very rare circumstance. Maybe,
yeah,
I don't know. But with that kind of money that he had, which, oh my God, he had a lot.
He had a lot of money. You know, I mean, he had a ton of money. He could have. I mean, but
what about, not to change gears, but another guy, Brett Meisner, of the Eagles, is an opposite example where he seemed guilty as shit, and they totally let him go, and it was a really bizarre situation. And this is the bass player I'm talking about for the Eagles. That sung, you know, "Take It to the Limit." You know, this guy had a lot of bread too. He retired a long time ago. His kids have been trying to get a hold of his estate power of attorney for a long time because he's been kind of cuckoo. He had a really tumultuous relationship with his wife. He was a big drinker. This one particular day, the wife calls the police that he's pointing a gun at her, and please come help her in this. And they showed up. The thing was, you know, blown off or whatever. Later, she apparently shoots herself in the face going into the closet when a gun allegedly falls from the top of the closet and shoots her in the face.
Sure. Jesus.
And the weirdest thing was the cops not only exonerated him that same day, which is, you know, pretty outrageous, but in a murder
case closed.
Yeah, they closed the case right there, but they go, yeah, we reviewed the home video footage and it all checks out. So it's just like he said. Yeah. And all I could think is this guy totally had some kind of briefcase with like $5 million in it. He said, let me talk to you over here for a second, and just handed it to him.
Yeah, probably didn't cost that much either.
Right.
I mean, honestly, what year was that?
This was probably a decade ago. You have the means to probably look it up quicker than I can. But yeah, he never even, there was no trial for that. It was just like, yep, just an accident. She happened to open the closet and this rifle just shot her in the face and killed her. Sorry, case closed. Yeah. And that's like an opposite example of the Phil Spector scenario. In this one, you know, what he didn't realize was that they had a microphone. The cop actually had a tape recorder that he had, and he was kind of copping. Spector was copping to the murder pretty much right up front.
Yeah, right at the beginning. It's like, I might have killed her. Whoops.
It happened. What can I say?
What can I say? It happened.
Yeah, I mean, so he's saying he did it, but then he just changes his whole deal. He's like, not only does he change it, but he actually, you know, insults the family and everybody by saying that she killed herself, and then gets like pissed about it.
Yeah.
You know, I can't believe she's,
how dare she blame
blowing
me
down my schedule with this.
Yeah. Don't you know that I wrote "Be My Little Baby"? Jesus.
Yeah. You know,
how could I have killed somebody?
Have you heard of the Beatles? Do you know that I produced their last album? You heard of a song called "Let It Be"?
Yeah, that's me. I couldn't have killed anybody.
And she comes over to my house and decides to kill herself.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, he just stares, and it's, you know, without even blinking, you know, he believes it.
Yeah, he's a mess, but not anymore. Thankfully, he's checked out. But yeah, that is a documentary. I tell you what, man, we may visit this again at the end of the show, but we gotta actually jump here because we got guests in the waiting already. We got Johnny Gioeli just waiting for me to bring him in. Johnny, of course, from Hardline and Axel Rudy Pell and Crush 40 and Enemy Eyes. He's in every band known to man. 100+ records that he's recorded at this point. So we're going to bring him on with a specific mission in mind. We're definitely going to talk about Enemy Eyes, his latest band. But I wanted to talk tonight about touring, and we're gonna obviously, you with Stephen Piercy, you have one analysis of touring. Johnny just got back from pretty much 6 months overseas, you know, over in Europe, touring with both Axel Rudy Pell and Hardline, so he can talk about it. And then a little later on, we'll have Pete Evick from the Bret Michaels band to talk about it. And what I want to talk about is not so much touring and yay, fans, cool, we're back, COVID's over. but more about the realities of today, the differences in the number of places to play, the cost to get out there, what it costs to get a room, tour, eat, all the things that people don't think about. Everybody's complaining, probably rightly so, about the cost of tickets today, but I don't think they understand why the costs are what they are. And I wanted to get it from a couple, 2-3 of you that are actually doing it to really put it in perspective, so at least people understand what's going on. So let's do this. I'm going to play a quick commercial, play a little bit of Enemy Eyes to welcome Johnny into the show so that people can hear what it's all about. And then we'll be back with Johnny Gioeli. All right.
Let's do it.
All right. So check it out. We'll be back in just a minute. If I can find the button to push. There it is. We'll be back in just a minute with some more right here on Chris Akin Presents.